Welcome, So-La-Rah here. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm going to pretty much get into some downloads and maybe pull some cards. I'm going to do my best to keep this quite short because I'm a little bit tired tonight, but I've been meaning to do this video for like the last 2 days, and I kind of want to get it out there for you guys because you know, the energies that we're dealing with this week are really they really are helping us to shift quite magnanimously for as long as we are knowing how to use them, how to utilize them. And to that extent, if you are interested in a play-by-play of how these energies are affecting us from the perspective of the planetary alignments every day this week, I did just post yesterday, about 24 hours ago, I posted a play-by-play, a week ahead reading from yesterday on Sunday, as well as the themes of the week all the way through to Friday up until Saturday, where we have the new moon eclipse in Libra occurring, and I will be doing another tarot astrology reading specifically for that. But if you're interested in the week ahead energies, then please feel free to check out that video on my other account, So-La-Rah Rises. Okay, I want to welcome you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Welcome if this is your very first time. I invite you to stay and see if you're vibing with my energy and see if there are any messages that are here that you're picking up that are for your benefit. I'm here to affirm that which you already know within your soul and maybe cast a little bit more light upon it for your own integration. And therefore, I'm here to help you step deeper and higher into the truth of who you are and into the power that you that has been locked inside of you all of this time, to help you to access it by way of tuning into your confidence. Your confidence is, and your belief in self is the key to unlocking your power, or one of the keys to unlocking your power. And I hope that my messages, my teaching, my breaking things down can be just one way or one form or one method of assisting you in climbing in that way. Okay, so welcome if it's your first time here. Welcome if you are returning. Welcome if you've been here from the very beginning, or you come here some time along the way. I just appreciate all of you guys, and I thank you for all the ways you support me in the channel. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your comments, your subscribes, your donations, your booking me for services. Thank you for all the ways you help me to appreciate in my own value, so I can help to also give back and replenish you again. It's a very a mutual thing, so I just want to say thank you to you guys. Okay. A few quick announcements before I get started. I am offering, as a thank you to you guys for getting me to 10K, 10% off all of my services. You can check out my website if you're interested in doing mentoring with me, getting a reading, getting a tarot astrology report, etc., etc. You can check out my website for that. It's 10% off all the prices listed for the month of October. That's the first thing. I have 2 new offerings up there. Readings that I'm going to be doing by the moon cycles in order to help you come into better alignment with your own personal astrology. I'll be doing tarot astrology, personal tarot astrology readings, looking at how you can use the planets at every moon cycle to help you come into higher alignment in accordance with your own personal astrology. And then I also am introducing divine alignment readings, which are kind of like, I guess you could call them general readings, but my purpose of them is for you to be able to utilize them to come into alignment again with what it is that your soul feels is your next step. So it doesn't matter if it's love, if it's work, if it's healing, you can come to me and I will do a reading to help you figure out what are your blocks, because as I like to explain to people, everything that you want is already yours. It's not an issue of striving for it, grinding for it, chasing for it. It's all about aligning so that you are in the same frequency that allows for it to come towards you. And the only reason why you wouldn't be in that, or you don't have it already, is because of the densities. There are densities that need to be cleared. So I do my best to try to assist people in clearing those densities in practical ways, because it's all about taking you higher. Okay, so those are the two new services. Final announcement is that I'm running a little bit behind on emails. If I haven't gotten back to you and you've emailed me over the weekend since Saturday, this video I'm recording on Monday, the 9th of October, the nighttime. So if you haven't heard from me since Saturday, I will be getting to my emails tomorrow. Okay, and if you still haven't heard from me after tomorrow, then please forward me your email again, because I may have not seen it, I may have missed it. I miss emails from time to time. So if you ever don't hear from me, just shoot me another email and I will get back to you. Okay, so I want to get into the energies, or the downloads I've been being shown, okay, because this is a week where it's time to decide who you are and what you therefore deserve based upon your own estimation of your value. So I'm going to say that again. It's time to decide who you are and what you therefore deserve based upon your own estimation of your value. Now, this is an energy that, because we live in cycles, you know, we're constantly going through cycles, and hopefully we're using every cycle to elevate and to go higher and to come into a cycle that is more in alignment until we reach a cycle that we're happy with and we can level out and begin to live from that place. That is the ultimate goal. But because we live cyclically, there are always points within a cycle where the energy will dictate that you do the same thing, but hopefully you're higher. So I say that because this is a very similar energy to what we were dealing with around the equinox energies in March and April. This energy of choosing, because you're going through a shift. Every time the equinox comes, it wants to take you into a higher state of a new balance, a different balance than what you knew before, because where you're going is higher, and where you go in terms of how you climb and what cycle you enter into is always going to be based upon what you think you deserve. And it's not only going to be based upon what you think you deserve just on a conscious level, it's going to be based upon what you truly think you deserve energetically. So within your subconscious too, which is what we've really been working on clearing out. Every one of us, our subconsciouses have been programmed out of our power. And now what we're doing with Ascension is we're clearing out those commands that have been within our subconscious programming that don't align with our truth. So at every cycle, we have the opportunity to go higher. And once again, we are entering another energetic window, especially this week, where we are being asked to make room for a lot of newness that wants to come. But the amount of newness that enters our realities is always going to be based upon our ability to make room. And when I say we're making room, we're clearing out the old. We're not staying attached to those energies that are not serving us in our ability to be everything that we came here to be. We are surrendering, we're letting go, and we're trusting, and we're opening ourselves up to the possibility of a beauty that some of us can't even begin to comprehend in our own minds, because of the limitations that we've been programmed in, and yet we still are pushing into that energy because our souls know it's possible and our souls know it's true. So what my guides have been saying is that the standard that you set this week is the energies that the eclipses will then be working with. So the standard that you set for yourself this week will be what the energy of what the eclipse then comes to work with. So eclipse energy is always here to bring you back into a higher state of alignment for as long as you allow it to. Okay, so eclipses come to clear away energies in a grand way. So it's kind of like, you know, when you do your daily maintenance cleaning in your house, and maybe, you know, once or twice a week you give it a good clean, and then every couple of months you have like a thorough clean. Okay, that's what the eclipse energy is. Okay, so it is here to reset you in accordance with, again, 21:44 on my clock, in accordance with what you base your own value or your own truth or your own power to be at this point, based upon how far you've gotten on this healing journey. So you've had, like I said, energy works in cycles. So you will always come back to a certain point where you hopefully have elevated in the energy, but it's still a point where you're going to have to make a very similar decision. And again, you are coming back to this place of deciding who you are and what you therefore deserve, based upon your own estimation of your value. Okay, so you've had 6 months of clearing and activations to decide upon your true value. So you've had, because we're looking at it through the lens of the astrological year and what's been happening so far, you had Aries season to connect deeper to your divine identity. You had Taurus season to connect deeper with the truth of your divine resources, your gifts, your talents, your powers. You had Gemini season to expand your mind to fully integrate those truths and to reach a higher level of consciousness, or what we like to call Christ-mindedness. And then when you entered into the second quarter of the year, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo season. Cancer season was about, okay, so now we've got a new mind, and we have to calibrate the emotional fields to match this. So we have to clear out the emotional densities and the programs that had us creating realities from the state that we were in before we accessed this level of our Christed mindedness, of our Christed minds, I guess, Christed mindedness, you know what I mean? And then Leo season was a grander attunement of the heart and working through more inner child stuff, but really helping once again to tune into your joy. And then Virgo season comes as a grand integration to teach you now how to live truthfully and to follow the light of your own soul. Virgo is the energy of the hermit, because it's very, very important. And this message has been coming up. It was in the other reading I did for the week ahead. Where is it now? Ooh. I don't see it. It will show me when I'm not even looking for it. But yeah, the whole point is to, here we go. It's the title. It's a time to diligently follow the true light of our souls. And that's what the Virgo energy was helping us to do also. So the Virgo energy was the beginning point of the integration of heart and mind. So Christed mind through Gemini, through Cancer and Leo, the acclimation of your emotional fields and heart, in order for Virgo to kind of help you with certain details, but especially learning how to really attune with being true to self. That's what the Virgo energy is, and being true to your own divine path based upon your own divine guidance, as opposed to a lot of external chatter and voices. The Hermit energy in Virgo is the light of Leo that leads you out, which the light of Leo, what you get back through the Leo energy is authority over your solar plexus, which is your solar energy. And it's the solar energy that takes you through. It is the light of your soul. And Virgo uses that energy and shows you how to use that energy in ways that honor yourself and your path. So that when you move forward, and by the time you get to Libra, where there is this grand union energy of heart and mind, you are actually in a balanced enough state to know how to handle yourself energetically in ways that honor you and then honor others as you step into partnerships. Okay, so now we are in the second decan. Yeah, we're in the second decan of Libra presently. And there is, this is kind of the time, you could say, which is why the eclipse is so timely. This is kind of the time where we go through the weighing of the heart against the mind, or against the feather, the scales of Ma'at. this would be the season, hence the reason why this is a week of grand calibration that is made even more powerful by the fact that we're moving into the eclipse energies. And of course, we have the 1010 portal. All of these things are helping to bring simultaneous endings and beginnings as you step into this third quarter of the zodiac year to prepare for what's going to occur in the fourth quarter, when a lot of this stuff will begin to actually bloom and materialize, okay? In various ways come when the sun moves into Capricorn, okay, and begins its final cycle of the year. So you've had 6 months of clearing and activations to help you decide upon your true value, or your newer estimation of your value in your own perspective, based upon what it is you've activated in terms of your powers, your gifts, your truth, the wisdom and the knowledge you've accrued by way of healing, by way of connecting. You've gone through a whole, many of you have gone through many rebirth processes in that six month period. And once again, you are at a place of scales being balanced through the equinox window also. Okay, so we have the new moon in Libra coming up on Saturday the 14th, and I believe on the 28th, I want to say Saturday the 28th of October. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the day for the next eclipse, which will be a lunar eclipse. I think it's going to be a partial lunar eclipse. It's full moon in Taurus. Okay, so this is the first lunation in Libra since the south node moved into Libra and the north node moved into Aries. And it's the first eclipse in those nodes. And we're closing out where the nodes left, which were Taurus, north node in Taurus, south node in Scorpio. We're closing out some of the work from that grand cycle, 19.5-month cycle, however long it was. We're closing it out. Energies will always overlap. So we've been going through an overlapping in this second quarter of the year too, from Cancer season through now. Because the nodes switched in Cancer, there has been an overlapping, an ending of the nodes being in Taurus and Scorpio, a beginning of the nodes being in Libra and Aries, and now as we move into the new moon in Libra, and it's like the full arrival of that energy of the nodes being truly expressed, and the pushing out now altogether of the previous nodal energy. So there's an overlap of energy that's happening this month, because we are truly going to be clearing out some of, we're going to be putting a solid close, you could say, to that period of time where the nodes were in Taurus and Scorpio. Okay, so and even this week with Mars moving into Scorpio, that is going to have an effect on how that plays out too. By the time the moon becomes full in Taurus at the end of the month, it's going to be another eclipse, and it's going to be almost like an eclipsing of that energy out. And I mean, when I say an eclipsing of that energy, I'm talking about the dominance of the Taurus Scorpio energy based upon the nodal positions will no longer be. Now we're fully in the energy of Aries in the north node, Libra in the south node. The new moon in Libra eclipse is like blowing the horn of that energy now being established. So again, like I said, there's always an overlap with energy. That is what the 10 is synonymous with. It is like endings and beginnings happening simultaneously. That's what the 10 is, and that's what we've been dealing with for 10 years. For 3 months, the overlap of the energies of the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio moving out, and the Libra-Aries axis establishing itself now, and now it is becoming more established. So if that full moon in Aries really rocked your world, that is partly why. Because not only is it an expression of the arrival of that energy, but it's also a grand shift, because now it's time to boot the other energy out all the way, or to prepare for it, because the grand boot comes through the full moon in Taurus. So the full moon in Taurus wants to sweep away all that keeps you from materializing your own self-worth, materializing the truth of who you are, I should say. That's what the full moon in Taurus. The Taurus energy is concerned with your own personal resources, your Taurus energy field. So the full moon in Taurus wants to sweep away all that keeps you from materializing this truth. Okay, and all that keeps you from materializing this truth, again, because everything that you could ever want in divine alignment is already yours. Those timelines already exist. So the only thing that keeps you from accessing these higher timelines are the energies that are dragging you down. And the energies that drag you down are the energies that will always try to lower your vibration and get you, therefore, in contracts that align you with deception or deceptive energies. And when I say deceptive energies, I mean lies about yourself that aren't true. Okay, so those lies that come to tell you you're not worthy, you'll never have this, you can't do this, yada yada yada, you don't have enough of something in order to achieve this. That's not true. Everything you need to get to those timelines you have. What it is you need to do is clear the densities, and ultimately those lies are what are keeping you out. You need to clear those lies and align with your divine truth, because it's your divine truth that connects you with your divine contracts and your higher timelines. So I hope that makes sense. So what we are like I said, the theme right now is it's time to diligently follow the true light of your soul. Okay, and the thing about it is that there is no, when you are walking this path, there is no one ultimately that can take you where you need to go other than yourself. You can work with people who help to give you guidance, etc., but ultimately it will always be down to you trusting your own inner guidance, trusting your own truth, and moving forward in that. Okay, and so this is really a time, the Virgo energy has primed you for this, has primed us for this, and this is what we're doing as we move forward into this 1010 portal. We are following the light of our souls. The more we are devoted to that truth, the more that we are able to connect higher with those higher timelines and contracts. Yes? So what my guides are saying is it's time to diligently follow the true light of your souls. It's not a time to follow your overactive ego. We've been there, we've done that. It's not a time to follow in the shadow of the memories of heart wounds. We've done that before, meaning that we have lived from a place of perpetually rehashing heartache and using that as a block. We've allowed, in many ways, trauma to overpower us and to put us in states where we're not able to be open. You know, we've been so proficiently traumatized that we've had to close ourselves down to recover, right? But then at a certain point, it's no longer closing self down to recover, it's closing self out of opportunities. And we close ourselves out of opportunities when we may have healed the heart wound, but we're still living in the memory of it. Okay, so it's a time to diligently follow the true light of our souls, not our overactive egos, not the memories of old heart wounds, because they were very specific. They said the memories. Meaning that if this message is for you, you've already done the healing of that heart wound. And it's almost like, you know how like a phantom limb, that's kind of the energy that they're showing me now. It's because some of us become so used to disappointment that even after we've healed and we've entered a state of being content within ourselves, the memory of the hurt is still what can be a block. So we're working our way through that by diligently following the light of our soul and not the history of our heartbreak. And we are no longer following the remembrance of fragmented timelines. Okay, because the timeline fuckery of the Matrix wanted us so fragmented and all over the place that we were connecting with timelines that were fragmented, and therefore were not producing what it was that we ultimately what our souls desired. You know, and this is part of the energy of why we would move into something, it would feel good, and then everything would collapse. It was part of the way that timelines had been fragmented. The only way I can explain it, I was talking to someone about this earlier on today, because Spirit brought this back for me to think about. Over the past few days, I had a dream about, I want to say like a little bit over a year ago. And I really had thought, you know, it's not that I'd forgotten the dream, but it's not something that I thought about a lot. And I really thought it was more a personal thing until Spirit kept on bringing it back to me over the past few days, and then gave me this message. And the dream was, I was in an office, and it was almost like an office, like an academic dean office, you know, like, or a principal's office. It was obviously someone important with files on me, and it felt very academic in its setting. It didn't feel like governmental. It felt, I don't know how to explain it. It just felt academic. Okay. In the dream, there was a lady who, you know, she grabbed a whole bunch of files that were supposed to be, I guess, about me in the dream. And the files were all out of order. But like when I say out of order, that's like putting it mildly. And putting it like so freaking mildly. Like she was absolutely befuddled as to how the files were it was even possible for them to come out of, like, to be that out of order. Like papers in another file, papers in other people's files. Like there were papers that were supposed to be in specific files for me that were everywhere but in the files that they were supposed to be. Okay, and that was when my guides were honing in on and helping me to see the energy harvesting and how fragmented my energy had become because of beings tapping into and stealing things from my Akashics and reorganizing things so that they could benefit from my energy and my gifts and my talents, and to leave me completely discombobulated, energetically speaking. And not knowing that, because quite frankly, until you wake up, you don't realize these things about yourself. You don't know you're an energetic being. And so my guides were bringing me back to this place over the past few days, and were showing me this also. And it's like when they kept bringing it back to me, and what they said to me about this week is that everything now wants to come into divine order. It wants to come into divine order right now. In other words, a lot of like that dream I had was not a deeply personal thing. This is a state that so many of us were in. And when I tell you that this woman in my dream, she was like confounded, dumbfounded, royally pissed. Like, how is this even possible? How is it possible for your energy, your timelines, your resources? How is it possible to be in this level of disarray? She was pissed. Okay? Now, and this is what I mean about the fragmented timelines. This is what we've ultimately been working through. So like a lot of people, they get upset about this whole like constant, the attacks, when's it going to stop? Right? And for many of you, it's probably slowed down a great deal. And for some of you, it's stopped altogether. And for others of you, you're still fighting. And the truth of the matter is that the attacks come to help to put you back into divine order. They do, because as shitty as they are, the attacks are activations. They're here when beings come to challenge you in your power. You're here to rise above it and tell them, go fuck off. You think once upon a time you could get away with that, but now I know who I am, and boom, I'm taking it back. Boom, I'm taking that paper back. I'm putting it in the right file. Boom, I'm taking that resource back. I'm putting it in the right file. boom, I'm taking that back. Every time they come at you with their attacks, they're giving you back your stuff. Not willingly, but because you're taking it back by force. Because like it says in, the Bible, the kingdom of heaven, and again, for those of you who don't know me, I don't ascribe to religion. I believe there's truth in every single one of those texts. I believe that they have been sorely tampered with to keep people in deception, and they've been used to control the masses. And yet, even in that, because we live in duality where the poison is the cure and the solution is the problem, that there is information and wisdom to be found in there for as long as you have an open heart and an open mind and you're operating in the spirit of truth. And so there is a verse in the Bible that says that the kingdom of heaven must be taken by force. You must take back your kingdom, your energy field, and your right to be Godhead over it by force. This is not something that you incarnated into this lifetime if you are vibing with me. Because for some people later on, they're going to their walk into their sovereignty will be it will be more like a walk in the park. But the only reason it's going to be like that is because your fighting now has made it possible for them. Because you've gone before them and you've done the battle, because your soul chose to. Your soul knew you were equipped to do this. And some of you were sent in here because you were needed to do this. You get what I'm saying? And that's why I say to you guys, there is nothing more powerful. There's nothing that can come for you that is more powerful than the power that's within you. The attacks against you are always a reflection and a testament of how powerful you are. That's all they're showing you. The harder they come at you, they're showing you that you are more of a threat. The harder they come at you, they're showing you just how profoundly powerful you are. That's what it comes down to, because they're matching your power, if that makes sense. They're coming at you powerfully because you have the power within you to disable, disarm, put an end to it. You have that in you. And the whole point of this process is for you to get to a place, like I said in the beginning, to rise into such a confident knowing of this that they stop. And it's not that they just stop, it's that you rise into such a confident knowing of this truth that you raise your frequency into divine levels, and they can't touch you there. They can't touch you in your higher frequencies once you stabilize your fields there. It's like against the glass or up high trying to get to you like that. They can't. They can't. And that's where you ultimately, some of you are heading there. And that's where you want to be. And it's possible for all of us. Whew. So everything wants to come into divine order right now. Everything. On different planes for different ones of you. So for some of you, everything wants to come into divine order spiritually. All of your Akashics, everything that's been fucked around with, your guides are like, it's time for everything to come into divine order. And once that happens, then it's time for your mental energies. It's time for your mind to come into divine order. It's time for your mind to align with the truth of who you are. So now you can access those contracts. And once your mind can align with the truth of who you are, then you can get your emotions in check so that you become a good and functional, operating, multidimensional electromagnetic being, because you are creating your reality constantly through the alignment of your mental and your emotional energies. That is what is birthing your material truth. So once the divine order comes in the mental planes, it can hit the emotional planes. Once your emotions are in order, then it can begin to birth in the material. And when it begins to birth in the material, then the things must be purged materially that are keeping the contracts from materializing in real time. And for many of you, that will be different. So with this full moon in Aries, if that was your reality, if you are getting ready for a material upgrade, the purging was physical. The purging was in your material reality. It was in your real-time things had to be purged. For some of you, you were purging from the body because your body is part of your material contract here. You were purging the shit from your body because your body is part of your energy field. And things must come into divine order. You're being put into divine order. So what they said to me is all the broken shards of lost divine timelines, dashed hopes, and stolen dreams want to assemble and give you access to a new and higher reality. I'm going to say that probably another 2 times. All the broken shards of lost divine timelines, dashed hopes, and stolen dreams want to assemble and give you access to a new and higher reality. One more time again. All the broken shards of lost divine timelines, dashed hopes, and stolen dreams want to assemble and give you access to a new and higher reality. But you must surrender, and you must notice where those aspects of self and your past experiences that have kept you creating patterns from a place of an overactive ego, a wounded heart, or fragmented timelines. You must recognize these patterns and where they will want to come in and take the reins of your consciousness again. So what wants to come in and take the reins of your consciousness again to take you out of this grand alignment energy that wants to introduce you into a new reality, the coming together of everything? What would want to take you out? An overactive ego, an attachment to your heart wounds or the memory of heart wounds, or a reinvestment in fragmented timelines. So this is why this week it's really going to be important. Remember 2211, as I say this, the Libra energy is about the marriage of heart and mind. It's inner union energies. And what you decide this week based upon the 6-month journey you've been through with the Zodiac will assist in you to calibrate your mind and your heart into higher Christed states. This week is a week to exemplify and to stand in that energy and to own it and to walk in it as if it is now your new reality, because it is. Because remember, as I've said to you guys before, what you see in the material is dead. It's dead. It's just waiting for your heart and your mind to align to bring the newness in. In other words, what you see in your everyday life is about 7% of the fullness of reality. The 93% of the real truth of what is happening is invisible. And the moment that you connect with the 93%, and even though you can't see it yet, you know it's real because you feel it, your soul is telling you it's real, and you follow the true light of your soul, even though it's invisible, instead of what you see with your eyes, is the moment that you boom, that 7%, like a freaking, a stage, when they change the scenery on the stage and they roll it on out and roll in the new backdrop. That's what occurs. Hope I'm making sense. So, at the beginning of Libra season, I heard the phrase "Let the good times roll," and I was so full of hope. I was so full of hope, and I am still full of hope. I'm being a little bit facetious right now, but that full moon in Aries, I'm always ready for that Aries energy. I love me some Aries energy, but man, and I knew there was going to be a level of purging, but I was not 100% ready, y'all, for that full moon in Aries, because that full moon in Aries, it brought in the noise, it brought in the funk, it brought in the fire, it brought in everything and the kitchen sink, and it was like demanding. It was a demanding energy. Like, come on, get rid of this. Do you see this? Do you see this? It was loud. The full moon in Aries was loud. And in the midst of all of that energy, you know, I still was very like optimistic. Like I kind of knew what was going on, and yet you still have that moment where it's just like, is all of this real? You know, we all have those moments, right, where we start to question and doubt, and that's the moment where you have to be like, you grab a hold of the 93% because that's what gets you out of that pit, right? But I was just like, but wait a minute, guys, you told me. You said let the good times roll. I was like, this don't feel good. And they were just like, this is the preparation for that. This is what you're going through now. This is the Libra season is the energetic preparation for letting the good times roll. And for some of you, you're feeling it materially already, and that's amazing. Let the good times roll. For others of you, you're feeling it, but you're still in that wavering energy. So you're experiencing it in pockets. You feel it, and then you it's not that you descend, it's that you hit another, as you climb, you hit another density that has to be cleared to go higher. So you're still kind of experiencing that. And I think everyone is to some extent. And then there are others that are going through still like some heavy purging and heavy clearing and activations and still attacks and all of that other stuff. But the overall energy is still let the good times roll. We're clearing it to make that possible. Okay, so the full moon in Aries was all about a grand purge of the blocks to this, to letting the good times roll, and to help you see clearer what had to go and why the good times weren't already rolling. Okay, so what has prevented you from living in your own brand of glory? And I'm going to say that again. The full moon in Aries came to clear out by revelation what has prevented you from living in your own brand of glory. I'm going to say it one more again. Power of 3. The full moon in Aries came to show you what has prevented you, by way of revelation, what has prevented you from living in your own brand of glory. Because it's time to make room for more. It's time to make room for more. And I was saying in the week ahead reading, everywhere I went yesterday, I kept getting these downloads about pregnancy. Everywhere. And the thing about it was, what was really funny about it was I wasn't seeing any pregnant women. But my guys kept on talking to me about pregnancy and sudden pregnancy and a surprise pregnancy. And I'm listening to them, I'm like, you know, that's not really possible for me right now. So what are you talking about, the collective energy? And they were just like, it's a metaphysical pregnancy. There's a grand planting that's happening right now, and it's very much to do with the golden solar codes that came through the 8-8 portal, as well as the ones that you already had in your fields that are ready now to be activated as you reach certain frequencies, and they can be unlocked in your energy. So it's very exciting. I talked about that more again in the week ahead energies. You can listen to that, because it really is a week of preparing us for this new foundation of golden age living. So a lot of stuff is being reactivated in us from the previous golden age, and a lot of new codes are coming in to assist in those reactivations, as well as what we need to bring this forward into the brand new golden age. So where do you guys want me to go? And we'll wrap it up, because we're 42 minutes in. Let's go into some tarot. Oh, you know what we'll do also? What should we do first? No, let's do tarot first. I want to get maybe a card from the herbal deck. I haven't done that in a moment, and y'all know how I love my herbs. I always forget that I have that deck. And then when I bring it out, you guys are like, oh, I love when you do the herbal readings. I'm doing a 3-card draw, so I'm keeping the cards face down, and I pull whatever cards my guides are directing me to. They're still face down. I don't know what came out. Let's see what's at the bottom. The Knight of Coins. So we're making progress. And this is a card of action, but this is a card of action that is real. Something is actually happening materially. The Knight of Coins is the only one of the knights who actually finishes the job. All the other knights are so excited and gung-ho about getting places. You know, the Knight of Wands is like, he's got a fire in his pants, literally and figuratively, and he wants to go, and then he loses the passion and the drive. The Knight of Swords has a bee in his bonnet. He's like, ugh. And then he, you know, gets maybe a little bit farther than the Knight of Wands, and then he might get distracted, or he loses his gumption. The Knight of Cups is just like, oh, I'm in love, romance, and oh, heart, you know, like let me follow this, but he doesn't, again, very distracted energy, doesn't make it to the finish line. And the Knight of Pentacles says, I'm going to take all of the lessons I've learned from watching you fools, and I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to get to my destination. So the Knight of Pentacles actually completes the journey of all the knights. So, overarching energy, y'all. 10 of Wands. Something has wrapped up, and I said this in the week ahead energy, something is wrapping up in this warfare. And it's while not all of us are going to experience it yet, because what it is a collective energetic window. I know I want to be able to explain this properly. Okay, so every time these energies shift, they open dimensional portals, windows, however you want to see it, that make the energy available for all of us. But it's up to us to rise in the position to utilize it. So what is opening and closing simultaneously, because it's a 10 energy? There's something opening and closing. Closing down when it comes to the warfare, opening up when it comes to exiting it. The 10 of Wands is the card in the deck that speaks about, 10s are always about endings and beginnings. They're connected to the Wheel of Fortune. But the 10 of Wands is very much connected to what is happening in the spirit, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so it's the end of a cycle. It's oftentimes the end of a deep generational cycle. It is, you see, like she's coming, it almost looks like she is coming up. She's coming up. She's swimming upwards. And you know how, like, when you are, you're in, like, you're deep in the ocean, or you're deep underwater, and when you start to come up, the light becomes more and more real until you hit the surface and you can see everything. It's kind of like that. That's the kind of energy I'm tuning into with this 10 of Wands card. And look at this. Oh my gosh, we have the turtles. Look at this. This is Divine Mother energy right here. This is Divine Mother energy right here. Turtles are some of the most ancient like animals on the planet, from what I think that's the truth. And some of the oldest living, like, they have really long lifespans, but they've also been here and they've evolved through so much. And so for me, the turtle is really an emblem of the Divine Mother. So I'm trying to see what kind of, if there's kind of fish. I'm not really getting, I don't know what kind of fish these are. They're definitely fish. They're not whales or dolphins. I don't know what kind of fish those are. But either way, it's like she's being ushered out into the light. And there's something to do with the moon here too. Look, it's the moon that is, she's going towards. But it's not even in the fullness of its light. It almost actually looks like an annular eclipse. That's very interesting. I've never picked that up before, so I don't know if you can see. You probably won't be able to see, but in this picture, it kind of looks that the moon has this circle within it, and then it has a halo of light. It almost looks like the symbol for an annular eclipse, and I do think that the eclipse that we are having on Saturday, the new moon in Libra, is an annular one. I think that's the annular eclipse I think so. I could be wrong. But anyway, the overarching theme, this is the end and beginning simultaneously, as we already have been, we've already been talking about in this reading. So there was, as Mars moves into Scorpio this week, this was the energy that was coming up in the other reading too. Okay, when Mars moves into Scorpio in 0 degrees, we've got a lot of 0 degrees energy occurring this week. We have Venus entering Virgo, I think either tonight or tomorrow, entering the 0 degree point. We have Mars entering Scorpio at 0 degrees, and then we have Saturn moving, pulling back into the 0 degrees Pisces energy. So, yeah. Okay, the challenge. What is the challenge? 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords. But you see how she's grabbing that one sword? That one sword that is clarity for her. You see traditionally in the tarot, when you see the 5 of Swords in the tarot, when you see the 5 of Swords, it's always, you always see other characters trying to bring someone down. But the 5 of Swords energy is also the ways that we bring ourselves down. The 5 of Swords is all the ways that we have, other beings have tried to make us play small or be small in order for them to have some kind of inflated idea of who they are, or to energy harvest. And the 5 of Swords is also about all of the ways we've consented to playing small, whether consciously or unconsciously. And this energy, again, it was coming out in the week reading, like this is a week where we learn how to no longer consent to playing small, and we tune into all of the booby traps and the hidden energies and the veils that are responsible, and the patterns that we have tuned ourselves into unconsciously that kind of prevent us from doing that. And they tune us back into, like I said before, the memories of heartache, or the overactive ego energies. Okay, so the challenge is that there are energies within and energies without that want to push you back. It's interesting because you got the 10 and you got the 5. So the 5 is all about change, but it's half of the 10, right? So there are energies that want to push and constrict you back. You're expanding, you're becoming big, you're entering into your truth more and more, and then there are these energies that want to put you back in, and ultimately they want to play with your mind, right? And they want to put you into a state of depression is really what it comes down to. They want to it wants to compress and repress and suppress your energy until you become depressed, because you're squeezing yourself into a small ass energetic box that you don't belong in, and really you need to bust the fuck out and to shine and be yourself. This is the challenge this week. Okay, it's like you're breaking through to another level. You're busting through another ceiling, and whenever you bust through another ceiling, you got to contend with any of the densities that kept you out to begin with. And so this week the energies are coming into change. There's a change that is occurring with the 5. Okay, there is a shift in energy, a grand shift in energy, a grand change. And when the grand change comes in, you can either decide you're going to climb and go higher by the power of that shifting energy that wants to come, by attuning your mind to the higher truth, or you can be pulled under once again in the doubt and the lies and the fear, because you think that that is not possible, when really the shaking up of the energy is actually shaking you up and shaking up your foundations, because it's giving you access to that. But you only get it when you align your mind, Swords energy, your mind, with the new energy that is opening up for you. Yes. So far we have the Knight. Just so you guys know, I don't work with signs when it comes to people. I think it's I don't think it's helpful, in all frankness, but I do work with signs when it comes to energy. So the Knight of Coins is it's earth sign energy. So it's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. The 10 of Wands is Sagittarius energy. Okay, so that's 144 in Gematria too, the 10 of Wands, pushing you deeper into that 144 frequency. The 144 frequency is what you access to exit. The 144 frequency is when certain things, everything is in alignment to get you to a certain frequency. You have the 5 of Swords, which is Aquarian energy. So these are the contentions, the blocks, the chaotic energies that want to keep you from living your truth and shining. And really also it's shining before the collective, because it is Aquarian energy. And last but not least, your guidance, who is the High Priestess. Labrador, right? So your guidance is the High Priestess. It's to come into a place of inner peace, but really it again is that energy that I was telling you of not tuning into what you're seeing in the material, but tuning into following the light of your soul, tuning into that energy that might be invisible in the material, but you feel it so deeply within, and that's what's guiding you. And you need to let that guide you through this. It's not a week to shrink back and to doubt yourself. It never is, but there are certain points where it's like pivotal that you don't. And this is a week where it's really important that you tune into the fullness of your confidence, this Aquarius energy, that you tune into, and it's not even just your confidence, it's just the truth of who you are. This is a week where you do everything to dispel the lie, to climb higher into your divine truth and power, even when that truth and that reality hasn't yet been made real materially in your fields. It doesn't matter, for as long as you're feeling it, for as long as your heart is attuned to it, for as long as that's where your soul is pulling you, that's where you go. And for as long as you align your heart with that truth, when the eclipse energies come, they're going to help to put you in the position to better materialize it. And the High Priestess, is Pisces energy. So again, another energy of endings, because Pisces energy is 12th house. And the last sign of the zodiac. It's the door out of here. The return to innocence. Let's see what Herb wants to talk to us, and then I'm going to close it out and close it down. Jasmine is at the bottom. We have sensuality and lust energy, but it's also about connecting with past lives. But Jasmine is also a deeply divine feminine energy, but it's an energy that helps you to connect with the divine feminine energy. It takes you to the depths of your soul, which is why it also connects you with past lives. So that's interesting, because when I think of the Jasmine, it's very much very similar to the energy of how I see this this lady in the High Priestess position. You know, the Jasmine really connects with sensuality and lust, because sensuality and lust are energies of magnetism. They are sacral energies that are realized, but they are energies that are deeply connected, again, with past life truth. It's the ability to draw in the things that feel good because they're in alignment with your truth. So some of you might want to be drinking some jasmine tea, and speaking over that, or even bathing in jasmine. Ladies doing yoni steams with jasmine. Creating a sachet with it and sleeping with it if you like. Doing foot baths with jasmine. Oh, caraway. I love this. Oh, I love it. I love caraway. It's one of my favorite herbs just to drink for the flavor. Caraway, if you don't know what it is the seed that often is on, I think it's on rye bagels. But caraway is, in herbal medicine, it is a carminative, which means it helps to move out it helps to move out trapped wind. It helps to move out gas. Okay, so if you ever if you are a parent and you ever gave your child gripe water, or if you were a child and you took that and you still remember it, or if you were like me who had an obsession with gripe water and would swig it when I was a kid when my mom wasn't looking, and low-key when I was nursing my daughter, I used to just love to drink it. I used having a baby as an excuse to drink more gripe water because I love it, right? And gripe water, the main ingredient in there is caraway. It's caraway and it's dill. So caraway is beautiful for, think about it on a physiological level. It's good for removing trapped pockets of gas. And we know that trapped gas can be very uncomfortable and very painful. And once you move that energy, you get relief. So this is all about moving trapped energies, but more importantly, it's energies that are trapped that would prevent you from birthing your new reality. And I say that because caraway, in terms of its energetics, is a herb that is highly protective of children. So not only is it a beautiful and gentle herb that you can actually give to babies, and there are a lot of there aren't that many herbs that are that safe and gentle that you can literally just give to newborns, but caraway is one of them. Although it's like great in that area, like physiologically, it also energetically is highly protective of children. So I think in some like traditions, they used to make caraway sachets and hang them over a baby's crib or put them under the crib. I don't know what the tradition was, but the whole point of the tradition was to protect the baby from caught to death. Okay, so caraway is highly protective of children. And what I like to tell people about caraway is that it protects the things that you are growing and birthing. So on an energetic level, remember I was telling you guys about how my guys kept on talking about pregnancy. And eventually, like when I snapped, they were like, no, we're talking about it on a metaphysical level. And that's what caraway does. It protects what it is that you are building and you are growing that is still very, it's very nascent, it's very innocent, it's very fragile still, and it needs that extra protection until you can put it out in the world. That's what caraway, that's the energy that it does. It protects that so that, like when you have a tender plant that's just beginning to grow, especially in the outdoors, you might want to be careful and shield it from the wind and do certain things where you're paying attention, more attention to it because it's gentle, it's in its budding phase, it's more fragile, it's more susceptible to the energies of the environment coming in and destroying its ability to continue to bloom. Like that process when something is budding and blooming is so delicate, and that's what caraway helps to protect. Okay, it also is a removal of the spiritual cause of illnesses. So it helps you to get to the root of illnesses, right? On a spiritual level, not on a physiological level, on a spiritual level, okay? It keeps evil and interfering spirits and energies away, and it protects against thievery. So again, that's all about this energy that is blossoming, blooming, growing, is young, and it needs that protection from energies that would want to steal it. So this, on the other hand, is showing me that there's something that you're being called to be highly, I don't want to say defensive, but protective, and protective in its sacredness. And really what you're protecting now is the sacredness of yourself and the energy that you are birthing and the energy that you are. It's time to be very, very protective, but not, when I say protective, what I mean is like, it's less protection and it's more also reverence. Having like a real reverence for the sacredness of who you are and what you're becoming through this process. Okay? And that's also because I do feel, and again, this was coming through on the week ahead energies, I do feel like for many of you, there are a lot of past life activations that are coming through, that are wanting to be activated. I already mentioned that earlier on in the reading about the golden solar codes coming through that are here to activate those energies that are already in your fields once you reach a certain frequency. And the energies of the planets this week seem to want to help us to get to that place. There are activations that are definitely wanting to come through. I was definitely picking that up, especially in the energies of Wednesday. And it makes sense because we're also going through, the 1010 portals. So, and then we have a lot of 0 degrees happening in the planets, and 0 degrees always act as portal-like energies. So there are upgrades that are wanting to come through. There are past life gifts, remembrances, things that are wanting to return. And whenever things are wanting to return from past lives, it's for better or for worse. It's the things that you you don't really want remembrance of as well as the things that you do, you know. So be aware whenever you are leveling up, there are things that are going to want to come your way to try and take you down. But again, when you're trusting the light of your soul, you don't have to be in high defensive mode. We're learning right now how to lower the barriers of our defenses and trust others only because we've reached such a high level of self-trust. Okay, so I said I was going to do a short reading. That was not short, but it is what it is. So I am sending you guys so much love. Oh, if you would like to know more about who I am, work with me, know more about the services I mentioned at the beginning, you can feel free to check out my website, So-La-Rah, SOLARAH.info. That information is also in the description box below. Please be aware that to book with me, you must email me directly or come through the contact page on my website and tell me what service it is that you would like. I don't have an order function on my site. It's simply there to show you the breadth of what it is that I offer. Okay, so if you want to book with me, you'll do it directly via email with me. Okay, so for those of you who are looking for readings for the next eclipse, for the full moon in Taurus, please get your request into me by next week. Especially for those of you who are wanting the service that comes with ritual advice. Okay. Yes, I think those are all. And yes, if you would like to donate to my work in the channel, I always leave my PayPal information below, and I thank you for your generosity if you choose to do that. I will be returning to either Patreon, and it's not a return, but I will be either starting something on Patreon or Substack. I'm bringing back my writing, and so it will not be in the same format as Daily Alchemy. I'm still working out the what works for me moving forward, but I definitely have missed like the daily writing and the tuning into the energies by way of writing. It's a different experience than sharing it with you via video. I've missed the writing and getting into it like that. So I will be returning to that. So please stay tuned. I will announce it in videos as well as on the community board. I still will get back to you guys about how I want to figure out the raffle or the draw for the prize for the 10K giveaway, which is one person will have a free mentorship session with me. I'm still, you know, like these energies have been very intense. I haven't forgotten. When I'm ready, I will let you know in the video as well as on both of my community. Well, no, this community board would be the one because of the, you know, it's a giveaway for you guys. So, yes, I think those are all the announcements. So I wish you guys so much love, joy, peace, balance, stability, focus, clarity, beauty, more joy, more peace, more stability, more certainty, more assuredness. Everything that is ultimately divinely yours. And you reach it by coming into divine alignment, which is a complicated way of saying you reach it by accessing the truth of who you are and choosing to live from that place. Okay? So I will see you guys again soon. Until next time, be well.